Take you back. Do, 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 take you back.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the Frampton versus the Santa conference call. Your host for today, Kelly Swanson, will begin.
Thank you, operator. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. What an exciting conference call we have today. Of course, we're talking about Carl Frampton versus Leo Santa Cruz, the rematch. It's number 2, as well as Dejan Zlaticanin versus Mikey Garcia. And before we get into the particulars about those matchups, I just want to mention that it is Saturday, January 28th on Showtime Championship Boxing. It's a doubleheader presented in association with Premier Boxing Champions and live from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Tickets are still on sale for that event, which is promoted by Ringstar Sports in association with Cyclone Promotions and TGB Promotions. Hey, thank you so much. All right, media, stand by. We're going to make the transition to our next bout.
Thank you.
And just as we're doing that, I do want to remind everybody that this doubleheader is on Showtime starting at 10 p.m. Eastern. That's Showtime Championship Boxing, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And prior to that, there is a Show Extreme starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope I have that right. No, 8 p.m. Eastern Time with Lee Selby and Jonathan Barros and David Benitez and Sherry Lai Mamajano.
Thank
so
you.
That's the. Pardon me?
I said thank you. It's Chris. Yeah, you had it right. 8 p.m. for Extreme, 10 p.m. for Championship Boxing. Appreciate that.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. Okay, I think we have. Is Mikey Garcia on with us? I know.
I'm right here.
Okay, Mikey, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Okay, you guys, I'm now going to introduce the co-main event, which is Dejan Zlaticanin, who's on the line. He's the undefeated lightweight world champion, and also Mikey Garcia. He's the undefeated former 2-division world champ. So first I'm going to introduce Mikey, who'll say a couple words. He's 35-0 with 29 knockouts. He's trained by his brother Robert out of Riverside, California. And they are hailing from Oxnard, California. He has won world titles in 2 weight divisions, and he had recently returned after a long layoff to stop former champion Elio Rojas in July, and now he has an opportunity to fight for a title. So, Mikey, you want to make a couple comments?
Well, I'm very happy to be here, very excited. I'm very grateful for the opportunity that's been given. I'm ready to get back and kick back what's mine and get back where I belong. I think this is a wonderful fight, and I think January 28th is only the beginning of this next stage of my career. Will be the best stage of my career.
Okay, thank you so much. And Dejan, are you on the phone?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, great. So now I'm going to introduce Dejan Zlaticanin. I hope I'm saying that right. He's 22-0 with 15 knockouts. He is the undefeated lightweight world champion, and he hails from Montenegro. He's the WBC lightweight world champ, Became the first boxing world champion ever from Montenegro when he won his title in June of 2016. So without further ado, Dejan, would you like to make a couple comments?
Коментар.
Jako sam uzbuđen, će borba da se desi
Okay, hang on one second. Go ahead, I'm sorry, go on. Interpret.
Jako sam uzbuđen, će borba da se desi u MGM Grand Arena, jer poznato je da je to boksarski hram. Tako da sve u svemu i samim tim što boksujem protiv izuzetno popularnog borca kao što je Mikey Garcia. Vjerujem u sebe i jako sam se trenirao i pripremao za ovu borbu i vjerujem da ću u 28. slaviti I'm very excited because I'm fighting on this big scene like MGM Grand. That's the mecca of boxing, and against a very good and famous fighter like Mikey. And I prepare very good for this fight, and I believe I will be victorious on 28th.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks so much for that. And also, I do want to let people know that Montenegro is north of Albania on the Adriatic Sea, in case anybody's wondering where that country is.
Yeah,
So
beautiful.
Beautiful country. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, countrymen. And now we're going to open it up for media questions. Go ahead, operator. Let's turn it over to the media.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. And I'm waiting for callers to join the queue at this present time. Our first question will come from Dan Raphael from ESPN. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. My first question is for Dejan. I'd like to know, because he was the first world champion from his country, Montenegro, which, Kelly, I actually know where that is, if he could just describe what the reaction of his people at home was to his victory, because they had never had a boxing world champion. Did they know what was going on? Was it a huge event in the country? Does he get recognized when he walks down the street? What has it been like, the reaction at home for him winning this world championship?
Ti si prvi šampioni Crne Gore, kakva je to reakcija, jer oni ne znaju što je to biti šampioni. Kakva je reakcija kad tamo poznaju li se na ulici? Ja sam sami tim postao, ušao u istoriju kao prvi bokser koji je postao srpski prvak. Što se tiče reakcije ljudi u Crnoj Gori, ne mogu da kažem da sam jako dosta popularan i da me bukvalno svi prepoznaju od djeteta do starijih ljudi, znači jako sam poznat, ali mislim da predstavnici sporta i nisu toliko svjesni mog značajnog rezultata. I'm very famous there. They're recognizing me, everyone, from the kids of 5 years to all the men 8 years. Everyone knows me, but the people who representing sport, ministers and that, I think they don't really know what this means for them and for every country, not for that little country. This is a very big result.
Is there any other famous athlete from Montenegro?
Ima li još neki drugi poznati sportisti? Znam, to su fudbaleri i neki kolektivni sportovi. There are soccer players and sports who plays more people, you know.
So mainly soccer players.
Yeah, soccer players or basketball players.
I'd also like to know from Dejan, when he won the title against Mamani, he looked obviously very good. He knocked him out, and now he's taken an opponent like Mikey Garcia, who comes with a much more highly regarded reputation than the opponent that he beat for the title. He's fighting a two division world champion and an undefeated fighter, 35-0. What was it that Dejan saw in Mikey Garcia that made him decide that he would take such a difficult first defense of his title? A lot of guys, sometimes they take a softer fight when they get their title, go home, make some money. But, he's stepping in to fight one of the best fighters in boxing right off the bat. Can he just explain his rationale for his reasons for giving Garcia the shot so quickly?
Ovo što je se tikalo protiv Mamanja i lagano si ga pobjedio na kultira, ali sad boriš se protiv mnogo većeg borca koji ima mnogo bolju reputaciju. I zašto si prihvatio tu borbu, mogao si neku lakšu da zaradiš pare i da ideš kući i da završiš posao. Upravo zato što sam ja takav. Ja kad boksujem sa slabijim bokserima, ja si ne osjećam tako lijepo. Jednostavno taj neki osjećaj čudan imam u sebi i ako pobjedim, osjećam se lijepo za razliku kad je se od mene neki opasan bokser i mnogo sam više motivisan da njega jednostavno to je ono igranje sa psihom i to me motiviše da pobjeđujem bolje od sebe. Da kažem, možda i nisu, ali da dokazujem sebi da ja to mogu.
I like to fight the best. I don't feel good when I win someone maybe is not too good fighter, and when I go, I know I will win that fight. I don't want that. I want to fight the best and to fight dangerous opponents and to test myself, to be every time to be better and better.
All right, very good. Thank you for that. Appreciate that, Dejan. Hey, Mikey.
Hey, Dan.
My question for you, Mikey, is here we've discussed your long layoff a lot over since you came back and fought Rojas. I'm wondering from you though, do you think that the one fight against Rojas after your long layoff was enough to get you ready to fight such a highly regarded opponent like Dejan Zlaticanin for the title?
I think I was ready to fight for a title even after the layoff on my first fight back. We obviously were not able to secure a title fight, and I had to get through Rojas, but I think the Rojas fight showed everybody that I didn't lose a beat. I right where I was before the layoff. The styles that Rojas presented versus the style that Dejan presents is very different. So it's not like I took that as a tune-up. I just needed to get back in the ring, and after I got that one taken care of, we're looking for a world title fight. And Zlaticanin was available and willing to give me a title shot, and we are taking this opportunity.
What's your opinion of him as a fighting style? I don't know if you've got a chance to watch any of his fights. He's obviously very aggressive. He seems like a very strong puncher. Was a good amateur. What's your scouting report, so to speak, on your opponent?
Well, that's exactly what it is. He's a very good, aggressive fighter with dangerous power. He's always coming in looking for the knockout, looking for big shots, trying to land his big overhand left, right hand to the body. He's very good at what he does. Now, I think that's a dangerous opponent, but that's the fight that will give me the most recognition. When I got guys in front of me, just like he said, if he's got a guy in front of him that's easy, it doesn't mean the same. The victory won't carry the same value. But when you beat someone that's dangerous and like undefeated world champion like himself, that gives me more credibility, and I just feel that that's a much better victory than winning for a vacant title.
All right, very good. Thank you very much for that, Mikey. Thanks, Dejan. Appreciate your time, guys.
You're welcome.
Our next question is going to come from Leo Santa Cruz from Premier Boxing Champions. Please go ahead. Excuse me.
Guys, how you doing? How you doing, Mikey?
Hi, Len.
Mikey, as Dan referred to, this guy's very aggressive, and if you look at his last, 3 fights, Ricky Burns, Red Catch, Mamani, the ones that he really was burst onto the scene. Characterize his style. Characterize what you see in those fights, how he sets up his punches, and what you need to be prepared for. Particularly, it looks like the left hand, either an overhand left or a straight left, started the demise of the guys that I mentioned.
Well, he seems to come forward timing that overhand left, and he's been pretty successful with it. He's had a lot of success with that overhand left. Uses the right to get in close, get the range, measure his opponent, and if he gets him, with that straight left, overhand left, it's his power punch there. That's his, seems to be his favorite punch, and it's worked for him. So that's something I gotta, be careful for. We've been training for that, but he's also always very aggressive, just physically, just mentally. He doesn't really, take a step back. He doesn't really seem to ever get discouraged. He's always coming forward. Always has the champion's mindset of winning, and that's just the way a champion should be. And I respect him for being like that, because he is a world champion. He's not a paper champion. He's not somebody that they just gave a title to. He's earned it. He's definitely earned his world championship status.
Mikey, do you think you're fighting the best guy at this weight, and also the weight itself? Even though you fought at 140 in your last fight, this guy's been at this weight for quite a while, and he's a big 35-pounder. He seems to think that that's an advantage. Do you think you're fighting the best guy, and also from a size standpoint, how much of that is a challenge for you?
Well, he's the world champion in a 135-pound division. He's undefeated. He's definitely one of the best guys in the division, because you got Lenard, you have Flanagan, and what is it? Sorry, I forget the name. But all these champions have done great, and he's definitely done great on his own. So I think he's probably the most dangerous of all of them.
Mm-hmm. What about weight? The weight, his size.
Yeah, well, he's definitely gonna be the biggest guy that I've faced. As far as natural lightweight, yes, he's probably the most dangerous in that aspect. He's strongest, biggest guy that I've faced in my career. I was fighting at featherweight, followed by super featherweight, and even though we fought my last fight 140 pounds, I fought a former featherweight champion in Rojas, just like myself. So it wasn't like I was fighting a huge 140. I was fighting a guy that used to be the same size as me at featherweight and 130 pounds. But now I'm fighting a naturally, big 135-pound world champion.
Thanks, Mikey. Dejan?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. So Dan was talking about his, famous athletes. How is he treated in his country, even though he's, a new champion? How is he treated in relation to the longtime stars like the soccer players and the basketball players? What does he think it'll take to get to that point? How big would another win like this to popularity?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear everything because it's not good connection. Can you repeat again, please?
Sure. What I'm saying is, he's the first champion for boxing for Montenegro, and obviously you have famous basketball players and famous soccer players. How is he treated on the level in relation to those guys, and how much better would another win, another defense, the first defense, take him in terms of his popularity? How much bigger would he be as a result of another win?
Kako se ophode prema tebi u Crnoj Gori i kad se uporedi sa ovim poznatim košarkašima i fudbalerima, popularnost u Crnoj Gori i koliko će ova pobjeda uticati da budeš još više popularan?
Također se prema mene što tiče, opet ističe naroda, opet prema mene kao najvećem boksarskom šampionu koji je ikad bio u Crnoj Gori, a posle ove pobjede nadam se da će biti onda poznat ne samo u Crnoj Gori, nego cijelom svijetu.
People loves me there because I'm first champion and they know that is something special. And after this fight, I believe I will not be just famous in my country, and I will be I will have recognition worldwide.
Last question for you, Dejan, is you seem to, I've talked to you once before, you seem to be, and your camp also seem to be somewhat offended by Mikey's talking about future fights and his career and how this is the start of his career. Does it offend you that he may be talking about other fights? Do you feel like he's looking past you? Do you feel like you're being disrespected in any way?
Misliš da te ne poštuje što je pričao o drugim borbama i to?
Ne znam kako se to, ne znam kako se to može protumačiti, da li poštovanje ili nepoštovanje, a sam ako razmišlja tako samim, to je velika greška za njega i to će mu se opiti o glavi. A to da li poštuju ne, to uopšte nije ni bitno, jer 28. da ćemo se ringu i tu će se pokazati ko je bolji. A vjerujem da će on, ako bude se borio kao pravi Meksikanci, da će biti borba prava za boksovske fanove.
I don't know is that respect or disrespect. I want to get in the ring and to show everything, but that's not good for him if he talks like that, because they will break off his head. He can't he can't think about it. He needs to win this fight first, then to talk about that. Boxing is real life. This is not movie. You can't go when you need first to jump, then to say hop.
Dejan, do you think you're going to knock Mikey out?
Da, mislim da će ga napotirati jer po punoj rundi, a identično smo stila, obojica smo fajteri, a puno 12 rundi i mora biti napotiran.
Yeah, it's a 12 rounds fight, and I will catch him with a good shot, and he will be knocked out.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Our next question is going to come from Mitch Aperson from RingTV.com. Please go ahead. Mitch, your line is live if you have a question. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go on to our next question in queue is from Keith Idek from theboxingscene.com. Please go ahead.
Yes, my question is for Dejan. Dejan, do you think Mikey is the best fighter that you fought? I know you fought Ricky Burns and a couple of other guys. Do you feel he's the best opponent of your career?
Misliš da je Mikey najbolji borac s kojim se do sada bori?
Pa sigurno da je najpoznatiji i najslavniji bokser i bokser sa najboljim bokserskim skorom, ali ne mogu da govorim tako o protivnicima dok ne uđem u ringu i borim se protiv njih, jer svaki protivnik je sam po sebi težak, tako možeš da se doneti neki zaključak posle borbe koji je najteži protivnik. Imao sam teški borbi kao sve protiv.
Is the most famous fighter, that's true. But I can't talk about that before I get in the ring with him. Because I fought big names like Ricky Burns, Peter Petrov. They are really good fighters. And Ivan Redkach. And I can't talk is he dangerous or not when I'm not in the ring with him. When we finish the fight, I can talk about that.
Does he have any level of concern about if the fight does go to the scorecards because he's coming to the United States? Is he concerned about the judging at all?
Jesi li zabrinut zbog suđenja za to što se boriš u Americi?
Ne, apsolutno ne.
No, I'm not. I think we'll be fair judging.
And just going back to something that Len mentioned before, does he feel kind of overlooked going into this fight? I mean, just, obviously Mikey is a well-known fighter in the United States who's fought on premium cable a bunch of times. Does he feel overlooked, like even though he's the defending champion going in?
Excuse me, can you repeat? Good.
Does he feel like he's overlooked going into this fight?
Da li misliš da se gleda kao prošao kroz tebe?
Aha, moguće da tako gleda, ali to će biti velika greška za njega.
Maybe he's looking like that, but that would be a big mistake for him.
Well, I just mean more, not just in terms of Mikey, because I don't know that Mikey's overlooking him, but just in terms of him, even though he's the defending champion, people aren't as familiar with him as they are with Mikey, and he's just kind of, not getting a lot of attention going into this fight. Does he feel any kind of way about that?
Ti braniš titulu, ali ne privlačiš puno pažnje koliko Mikey.
Pa ono sam više puta spomenuo, on je izuzetno popularan u Americi za razliku od mene, ali Bože moj, za to će borba da se deći 28. i poslije ćemo da vidimo da li će biti tolika popularnost njegova.
Yeah, I thought about that a lot of times. He's a big name here at USA, but and I'm not. I'm champion, but people doesn't know me here yet. But he'll know me good after January 28th.
What does he hope to show people who are not familiar with his fighting style and maybe have just seen him fight on YouTube a little bit? What would he hope to show people and maybe make them appreciate about him?
To bi ti da pokažeš i da kažeš ljudima što treba da stine kod tebe, što te kraće.
Aha, pa poručio bih da Mikey do sada se nije borio sa bokserom kako sam ja, to znači da bokser koji ima izuzetno snažan udarac, bokser koji je izdržljiv i bokser koji je strpljiv.
I want to tell everyone that Mikey never fought the fighter like me with a big punch like mine, and I'm very durable, and I'm patient. I'm waiting for my chance.
Thank you. I just have a question for Mikey. Mikey, he said he was going to knock you out. I'm sure you don't hear that going into every fight. But what are your thoughts on that?
Because that shows his confidence and that shows that, you know, it will be a great fight. Like I said before, I don't want a guy that's just going to go in there and take a knee. I mean, I want somebody that can push me to the next level, somebody that can really test me, and I think Dejan is the perfect man to do that.
Mikey, what do you think? He said that he thinks that you're, and I know you answer the questions about future fights because we ask you about those fights, obviously, but what are your thoughts on him saying that you're making a mistake talking about other fights?
No, well, I definitely do have to get through this fight first, of course, and this is the main focus. But whenever I get asked about a future fight, I have to answer and I have to reply with some logic. And if everything goes well, this fight against Dejan, of course, we're going to move forward and look at what's available. And if we can unify titles or defend the title against a well-known name or maybe move up in weight class, things like that, you have to start, planning the future. But the fight that's most important is what's in front of me, which is Dejan Zlaticanin. And I don't think there's any problem with that. It's not going to affect the way I perform. It's not going to affect the way I train for this fight. My main focus is January 28th, and then after that we'll move on to whatever the future has for us.
Thank you, Mikey.
Sure thing.
Okay, great. That was actually the last question. So we appreciate you guys taking the time today out of your busy training schedules to be with us on this call. And again, media, we will be sending out the Fight Week schedule, which will have all the information about next week's big show from the MGM Grand live in Las Vegas and also live on Showtime. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining this conference call. You may all disconnect and have a great day.